Hello and welcome to the Genuine Learning Blog. My name is Melissa Galasso, and I'm excited to give you guys a recap of the last few days that I have been in Orlando, Florida. So this was my last AICPA Council meeting. I have finished my 3-year term. Unfortunately, I did start during the pandemic, so it was a little bit bittersweet for me. So only some of my sessions were in person, but I am grateful for the opportunity. And I had a wonderful time in Orlando, beautiful weather, lots of amazing people. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of a overview of what we did. It is a public meeting as opposed to our regional meetings, which are private. So I can tell you a little bit more than we usually share about our council meetings. And so we always fly in the day before it really starts for an opening opportunity to kind of network and meet people from all around the country. That's probably my favorite part of the event. But then day one kicked off with some welcoming remarks. And again, Corey Ramsey did a phenomenal job of getting us ready for an exciting day. And then Sarah Gosh, who is the association co-chair, also gave her remarks, both of them really looking at the accomplishments of their last year, as this was their last meeting as chair and co-chair of the association. So the AICPA and SEMA each have take turns chairing and co-chairing. It goes back and forth as we go through this. And so Corey was the chair of the AICPA, but he was also chair of the association during that time. Probably the big hot topic, though, for the morning of day one was the start of our normal session. Barry usually does a professional issues update. This time it was called Inspiration Through Uncertainty. But I think the really interesting part, we did get a normal update like we always do. But after he took Q&A, Barry announced his retirement. And Barry's been at the AICPA as the CEO for the last almost 30 years. I literally don't remember a time before Barry when I was talking to him after the session on Monday. Literally my entire time I have been a CEO or CPA, he has been the CEO. So it was very moving. There were lots of, you can kind of just feel the air leave the room when they made the announcement. So definitely a moving time. So he has announced his retirement as of December 31st of this year. So we will be getting a new chair, and they sound like they have, or new CEO. It sounds like they have all the things in place. They've been working on this for well over a year. So they are not surprised the board was fully aware. They already had engaged somebody. It was just more of the public announcement of it. So I'm excited for Barry. I'm excited for his retirement. I'm excited to see him close out his year, and then looking forward to see who we get for our next CEO. So kind of exciting times at the AICPA. While we also had some of our more required elements from business model transformation, which came from PCPS, the talent pipeline NPAG draft report. So we've been talking about the National Pipeline Advisory Group and the work that they did. And Sue, Lexi, and Jen did a phenomenal job giving us an update and even make us take a pledge on how we're going to move forward with our pipeline. I think one of the more moving parts of the day, given we had lots of moving parts, was the presentation of the Gold Medal Award of Distinction, a person who has served just so many different capacities. A true statesman, Robert Cuppers, received it, and it was really cool to get to watch Tracy Golden present that. So very, very cool. And then the afternoon big topic was the report of the nomination committee, because that's when we get our new chair, vice chair, but also all of our new board members, et cetera. So Anoop Mehta, who was the chair of the nominations committee, led us through some of the nominations. So no surprise, we all knew Carla McCall from Massachusetts was going to be chair of the board for the Institute. Again, we have the Institute and we have the association. Carla will be the co-chair of the association. So they kind of go back and forth in the chair, co-chair position. And then very exciting news was vice chair of the board of the Institute for the next year is going to be Alexandra Kessler. We all call her Lexi, so it's kind of funny to have to say Alexandra from Maryland. So I cannot believe we're going to have another Maryland chair. I feel like they've had way more than their fair share, but they've done a great job bringing people up through leadership. So exciting. She did lead the NPAG group. So we've gotten to know her really well, and I'm excited to see, two women in a row kind of go through leading. And with that concept of women there, the board of directors, which is the smaller group that again has the association, but then they also have the Institute here for the board of directors. They have Angela Ho from New Jersey, Rumby and I'm sure I'm mispronouncing this and I apologize, Petrozello from New York, who did speak at one point, so I did get to meet her, Michelle Schumacher from North Dakota, Annette Stalker from California, and I'm very excited, Jackie Tracy from Rhode Island. She chaired WIC when I first started, and so I got to know Jackie pretty well, and I'm excited to see her take on this next item. But as you can see, the entire board class is female, which is really exciting. So an entire class of women joining the board, and so that was a pretty big announcement. And then our new council members at large. So I have an at-large seat. Most of the seats at council are appointed by the states. And so whether that's their chair or whatever they're going to do, each state has a certain number based on their population, they get assigned. But there's also a number of at-large, and you get a 3-year term. And so that's why I'm rolling off my 3-year term. But I was very excited to see David Almonte. He actually is a former Leadership Academy grad, same year as me. So very excited for that. Vinay Desai, Joe Falbo, Arume Hayes, Kelly Mann, another Leadership Academy grad and good friend, Fred Massanova, and Fred Sands. So very excited to see our council members who are coming in to replace us. I know they're going to do an excellent job. We did get comments from Corey Ramsey as the outgoing chair, really highlighting some of the work that he did. He really closed up with the work that they did on a diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, and other, National Pipeline Advisory Group, all really under him. So he had a great year, and it reflected on that. But the evening closed with the inauguration of the 111th chair of the AICPA, and Carla McCall is just the most authentic person. I've gotten to know Carla over the last few years. I've gotten to see her at council meetings, but also she's spoken at other events like the NCACPA's Women's Conference, and I've gotten to get to know her a little bit more, and she is a very inspirational person for me, and I'm really very excited. She starts and ends all of her meeting with gratitude. She just brings this different point of view. She spoke at the last council meeting for regional council on how her firm and their core values and their human first, and she's definitely inspirational. I am excited. I'm bummed I will not be on council while she is chair, but I have high expectations for what she's going to accomplish. Her daughter was there, her husband was there, and so many friends and partners. And so it was really cool to get her. And she was in hot pink, not afraid to be herself. And that, I think, is, the word that we would describe her as authentic. And so I'm very excited to see her over the next year and all the work that she gets to do, and then to be followed by Lexi Kessler. It's just going to be a phenomenal couple of years at the AICPA. So after that closing, we broke for the evening, and most of the states meet together. And so North Carolina did. We had a lovely dinner at a steakhouse, and we got up early in the morning for day 2 to hit on Gen AI, an opportunity for the profession. We had Alexander Bant from Gartner, who's the chief of research for CFOs. He spoke, and we even had some roundtable discussions, some very interesting statistics there. Matt Snow, who's also from North Carolina, he is I want to say, I'm going to get this wrong, he used to be the CEO of DHG, and then they merged into Forvis. And I want to say he's chair of the board of Forvis or something to that extent, but he's at Forvis. He's here in Charlotte, and he's just a really nice person. I sat across from him at dinner, and just really awesome human, but he did the ever exciting report on finance and operations, and they presented some of their findings in our annual report for 2023. Then we got into some more what's going on in the profession. So we did tax advocacy and service update and strategy from, and I don't want to even attempt to pronounce any of their last names, but Melanie Lauridsen, which is tax policy and advocacy vice president, and Eva Simpson, who's the tax practice and financial planning vice president. And astounding that the IRS thinks they do a phenomenal job and we don't think they do a great job at all. So really interesting statistics coming out of that. And then they closed with Mark Peterson, advocacy executive vice president, and he definitely really gave us some eye-opening remarks about what we're seeing out there. And obviously with an election year, lots going on in Washington, D.C., and then Carla close us out. And so officially Carla's reign. I'm off of council. I'm going to roll on to FinRec and the Enforcement Committee. So I'm not done working with the AICPA. I'm excited for this upcoming year. But council was really a moving experience for me. So I really enjoyed my time in Orlando, and I look forward to other ways to be able to assist as we go forward. But I thought you guys would be interested on some of what was going on behind the scenes there. Barry's retirement was definitely a start of the morning and then having Carla kick it off at the end, it was definitely 2 full days of interesting activity. So I wanted to share it with you, and I'm very excited for what we have to come at the AICPA. And if you haven't volunteered at the AICPA, aicpa.org/volunteers, get involved, pick a committee. It is some of the most interesting things that you're going to get to do. The people that you meet, so from my WIC days and from my TIC days and from the service that I've had in Leadership Academy, some of my closest friends now. So I would definitely recommend that you get involved, because you get these partnerships that you're going to meet, and it's going to be just phenomenal. So highly recommend. It sounds like it's going to be an amazing time at Engage in June. Lots of reunions happening there. So if you haven't set up your time for Engage, I'd recommend that as well. Otherwise, that's a wrap on this week's blog. We are not going to have a blog next week, but we will be back in June with some updates. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you on a future blog. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.